Hi everyone, my name is Kenneth Miller. This is my final project presentation for CIS607. My final project was forecasting weekly motor vehicle crash volume in the Kansas City metro area. We used Missouri State Highway Patrol crash reports to do this analysis. In this presentation, we'll cover the problem, the data, and how we converted the event level records into weekly time series, the diagnostics, the model comparison results, and we'll do a final 4-week forecast. We'll also talk about limitations and the next steps that this data could be used for. For our problem statement and our goal, our problem crash volume fluctuates week to week. Those swings matter for operational awareness and short-term planning. For things like signage, sign messaging, patrol emphasis, and then just general readiness. Our goal here was to create a defensible weekly time series and forecast crash volume for 4 weeks ahead. And the method that we used for this was to aggregate crashes down into weekly counts. And then we explored the patterns, and we ran diagnostics and compared baseline forecasts to ETS and ARIMA using a holdout evaluation. For our data overview, our data source, like we stated, was the Missouri State Highway Patrol online traffic crash reports portal. We pulled the crash data for Cass, Clay, Jackson, and Platte counties for the past year. The data set that we did pull was event level. It was PDF records that we had to extract and then place into Excel to create a row-based data set that we'd be able to use. And then to do time series forecasting, we had to choose a unit of analysis for our regular time interval, so we converted everything into weekly counts. For this presentation and for this project, we used the available time window and the provided data set, which was a year, and we can extend to multiple years, which could be a future enhancement for the project. For our data preparation, because the file is event level, we created a crash level proxy key using the county and the crash location and the crash date and the crash time. We did a dedupe on that data to get that estimate down to unique crash events. Then we aggregated the unique crashes by week to do our interval now, our time interval analysis. So our week started with Monday. We use that to create a discrete univariate weekly series, and we use that to address the feedback that the data set wasn't in time series format until it was aggregated. For seasonality limitations, since we did only use one year of data, we didn't have multiple seasonal cycles to be able to provide that seasonality. But the plots in our project do show the weekly crash count series. We looked at overall level changes, spikes, and then whether the variance looks stable. And this was our target series being forecast, one number per week representing unique crashes across the 4 counties. For interpretation of the data, we also summarize the crashes down to day of the week and hour of the day. Just to be able to get a better forecast analysis for that. We computed that by deduping the crash level records so that the counts weren't inflated by the multiple rows per crash to make sure we had all unique crashes. In our data set, Friday was the highest day of the week, and late afternoon hours were most common for crashes, for injury-related crashes. Basically what we saw, to simplify, is the weekends were busy and rush hour was the biggest time that we had for crash data. So as we stated, this project successfully converted that event level crash data into weekly forecasting series for KC metro area. The short run forecasting was feasible, but we did have just that 1 year data, so it was limited. The drift benchmark was most accurate model for our holdout comparison, and for future work we could extend the history window and add external variables such as weather or traffic exposure. Like I said, it was kind of with only 1 year data. To get our weekly observations, we weren't able to use that seasonality for that STL decomposition because we needed multiple seasonal cycles. So we went with a 13-week moving average to visualize the trend, and then we examined the remainder series as an irregular variation after removing that smooth trend. We thought that this was the best way to provide a defensible trend versus irregular view with that limited weekly history. That pretty much sums up our project from taking that event level crash report data and turning it into forecastable data analysis to assess crash data in the Kansas City metro area. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. If you do have any input or feedback, we definitely appreciate it all. Just thank you guys for all the feedback and insight this term, and good luck with all you guys on your final projects. Thank you.